we are. Hello and welcome everybody to the South Florida Storm Chasers live podcast here today, and we have a special guest with us, Christopher Stepp. Hello, very nice to have you here, Chris.
That's my son.
This is me, Kristen.
It's great to have you here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, very well. So today, what we really plan to discuss is the upcoming 2014 Atlantic hurricane season, or the ongoing hurricane season, and a couple other interesting topics, including a potential severe weather outbreak tomorrow. Any input, Chris?
Huh? I'm sorry, my sound was breaking up. I got it fixed now. What'd you say, bud?
What do you think about this upcoming outbreak, potential outbreak, may I say, tomorrow? The Storm Prediction Center has issued a moderate risk already for tomorrow, which I will pull up on my other screen very quickly. Here we go. Let's pull this up. There we go. Here we go. We have a moderate risk posted for tomorrow by the National Storm Prediction Center. And as we see, moderate risk, nothing out of the blue. But here we have a 45% hatched area probability in the middle of Minnesota, including Minneapolis and St. Paul. This could definitely be a significant day if it pans out. Now, if we go down quickly, read what the Storm Prediction Center is saying. They are saying that instability is supposed to be a wall for tomorrow. So we'll actually look and see if we can get the wrap going for tomorrow. 22Z minus 5 hours. That is.
Whoa. Where's that at?
What we have for this is
Dakota.
11 a.m. tomorrow. Some extreme heat going on in the Midwest tomorrow. We have some 100-degree temperatures down in Nebraska, and even going all the way up into Minnesota. This is not normal, though, for a severe weather outbreak. You normally don't like having these 90-degree temperatures, but for this one, it will have to do. Now, at the same time, we can look at some surface dew points, see what else is going on in this area. Surface dew point at 11 o'clock in the morning, already in the 70s to the 80s. This is going insane, and as you can see, it's wrapping around the low pressure system that sits right here, and behind it, dew points greatly diminish. So definitely setting up for some good severe weather risk. But then we also have the precipitable water. We have 1.5 inches in this area. This could be definitely a very significant rain event also. Now here we can just go and see some vorticity for 11 a.m. There shouldn't be much. There is some uprising in the atmosphere in that area at the time. Not much. But 11 a.m., let's see what the RAP has going. They have storms just beginning to fire in Nebraska and South Dakota, even though a lot of more models are pointing towards North Dakota. And then for instability, we also have already 4,000 joules of CAPE just waiting to be used. This is definitely setting up to be a significant day. At the same time, SIN is crazy in that area. We could see a capping effect. We do not know. The Storm Prediction Center didn't mention that yet. We can also, at the same time, look at 850 millibar temperatures. You really see the atmosphere is pretty hot down here. It goes up to 850. At the same time, we have around 20 to 25 degrees Celsius in this area. Could see a capping inversion. Definitely possible. Now we can do a quick look at shear. Not much by 11 a.m. Not much is going. Bulk shear. There's some, as this crazy jet stream still just is finding what it wants to do. very crazy, but this is in a very good region for some storms. And storm motion, we also want to look at this, just see what's going on. Looks like it will mostly be going to the east, northeast maybe, at that time. Not very fast either. But we're looking more at a MCS for tomorrow, specifically for strong winds. Tomorrow looks to be. And as this wrap gets updated, we will most likely see more of a push towards that as the Storm Prediction Center puts in. And they do say right here, damaging winds, some with speeds to hurricane force, should be the primary hazard. Hurricane force winds, this is crazy. And this definitely could be a significant outbreak. If for wind, we do not want to really push it too much, but this could be a big one for wind, for specifically Minneapolis, but areas such as La Crosse and Sioux Falls should keep an eye out, even if you're not in this area at the moment. Oh, there we go. Storm Prediction Center, thanks for updating during the podcast. Thank you. But going out of that, next, I think we will stay in this weather side of things for the time being before we move on to some more controversial topics, such as the idea of building giant walls in Tornado Alley to prevent tornadoes. What's your input on that, Chris?
Well, that sounds like a pretty good idea. I mean, anything to to help the people and help them be safer.
At the same time, though, an idea like this could potentially cost the United States billions upon billions of dollars. At the going price is $3 billion for only 10 miles of walls. This is a significant amount of money. Do you think it's worth it?
I don't. I mean, I think the advanced warnings would be better if we could find some way to make the warnings earlier. That way, the people can get down to safety quicker than spending billions and billions of dollars.
Very well. We agree here, too. And we will go back and flip. The next thing, we have the 2014 hurricane season, an insight by our team. And as we go through this, we will also be able to change it up a little bit as we have gone further in the season. I originally made this with input from some of the team members in early June and did not record due to a busy schedule. But now this is the time, and a good time after seeing Arthur form what we can do. So right now we're going to take a quick look back at the 2013 hurricane season, where the prediction was for 15 to 18 named storms, 8 to 11 hurricanes, and 3 to 6 major hurricanes. Now, that time you had a warmer ocean, a wetter African moon sun, higher pressure in the upper atmosphere, and a favorable easterly jet in the MDR, the main development zone. And this was a very good year, a very, very good year for chances of for a good hurricane season. And it didn't pan out, as most of us know. There was a lack of an El Nino. This was a neutral year, I believe so. Again, a strong moonson and above average water temperature, specifically in this main development region. Now, as we go on, we can look back. The first storm formed 5 days after the beginning, and that was Tropical Storm Andrea, which went up along the eastern seaboard after forming and making landfall in Florida. Andrea also did some tornadoes down in the South Florida area that produced minor damage. We did have teams on them at the time. Then the first hurricane didn't come until September 8th, which was Hurricane Humberto, all the way out here, which came straight off of Africa, took a northerly track, and was able to grow and strengthen in a Category 1 hurricane not before long, and ended up moving out to sea and slowly dying. Now, the final tally in 2013 was 14 storms, so just below the prediction, and 2 hurricanes. Notice the lack of major hurricanes. Now, this really threw everybody off, and this was one of the worstly predicted years in history. So we can compare this. What happened? The prediction, same as before, against the actual. There was the presence of a Saharan African layer of dust, and in the MDR, wind shear values rocketed to all-time highs of 30, 20, 30. All these amounts of wind shear were crazy enough to destroy any chances of real storms in this season. Now we can look ahead to the 2014 hurricane season, this current one. The prediction is 8 to 13 named storms, 3 to 6 hurricanes, and 1 to 2 major. This is below normal, and an El Nino is likely to be present. It hasn't showed itself yet, but it is likely to be present. And water temperatures are cooler than average. And in the main development region, there's an outbreak of Saharan dust, which keeps a lot of these storms at bay. At the same time, we see this Saharan dust absolutely dominating the west side of Africa. Anything that it's coming off is getting absolutely destroyed very quickly, and this is racing across all the way into the Caribbean. Now, the El Nino is causing strong wind shear in most of the main development region, and is forcing storms to form a lot closer to land than normal. And the cooler sea temperatures are self-explanatory, and the Saharan dust outbreak, this is preventing any strong tropical waves coming off of Africa and doing anything significant. Let's start. Check, make sure that kept going. So here, this is our first official hurricane season prediction. This is the first one that we have made public since, this is our first one that we made public. We normally do one of these and bet on it on dinner, but this one we decided to make public. This one is made solely on factors that are seen and analyzed by the entire team, and they are multiple predictions made and finalized into one. And we are saying 8 to 10 named storms, 3 to 4 hurricanes, and 1 to 2 major hurricanes. Ours pretty much lines up with the National Hurricane Center's, with us aiming at a little lower end. Notes: we have more storms forming near the Atlantic coast, and this is where we're going to do a little bit of a change. Less storms in the main development region. Due to recent changes, we think that the main development region is now more likely to produce some storms, as the Saharan dust is quickly at bay, and it is allowing for a better atmosphere to form for these storms. Now we can also see more quick storms in the Bay of Campeche. So these quick spin-up storms that spin up and go right into Mexico. See more of these. Expect more of them. And our idea is a chance of a United States strike is at 70% for the entire coastline of the entire Atlantic coast. We put 70%. 30% for the Gulf Coast and 40% for the Atlantic coast. So far, we are 1 for 1. A strike on the Atlantic coast, 1 named storm, 1 hurricane. You could be off to a good start, but let me remind you, this is not what you want. You don't want to base your hurricane season prediction off of 1 storm that formed very close to land. You do not want to base it off of that. At the same time, just some quick safety tips. I didn't mean to touch that. There we go. Weather radio. Keep it charged and tuned to your local National Weather Service office, especially during a hurricane. Review your emergency plan. Check your first aid supplies. Set up an out-of-town contact, or if you lose touch, you are able to still communicate. Secure your important documents. Figure out an evacuation route. Be aware of your surroundings and follow official instructions. With those. Have supplies ready at the beginning of the season. Do not wait for a storm to stock up. You will be the big loser. And refer the Red Cross and the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration for more detailed information. So, Chris, what do you think about this upcoming hurricane season? What do you feel about it?
Well, like you said, I mean, from the reports that you've shown, that is below normal. I mean, one did hit up close to the Carolinas. That's where it made a little bit of landfall, but the eye of the storm didn't really get to it. But you're right about that. That is forming off the coastline. And then it's about like the El Nino effect. That also plays a big role in the hurricanes as well. So, I mean, like you said, as what I go with what you said about the hurricanes being below normal as well. So, I mean, we'll just have to wait to see what weather shows. But as far as safety, that is right. You should be ready for anything. Like you have food and all that and stuff, and have your evacuation route. Be prepared because you want to do an alternate route as well. Because if your first route doesn't work out, then you need to find out, like if the flooding occurs in your house and stuff, you need to figure out a way to get out as well.
Oh yeah, and you
But
always want to,
like I said, the hurricane season is below normal.
and you always want to push to be prepared before the storm hits, and not to be that one person that is evacuating during the storm, because that is extremely dangerous, as we've seen during storms such as Katrina and Wilma, where people evacuate
Yes.
during the storm, and that is what caused their death. So that is the idea. If we can prevent this, that could be absolutely a huge help from the loss of life. Now here, as we change to our next topic, there we go, it's working. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Okay.
You know,
Walls protect the
you know
United
about that giant walls. Just sorry to interrupt you, Morgan. The giant walls. It's going to be hard because tornadoes can hit anywhere. They can, they can be the funnel cloud and all that could land right inside that wall. So that'd be hard to do.
And as this was talked about on Weather Geeks this morning, which is a very good show hosted by Dr. Marshall Shepard, fantastic. We encourage everybody to watch it. It is at Sundays at noon on the Weather Channel. An absolutely great show if you are a weather enthusiast. Great show. Website sucks. Anyway, what this is saying is, forget about, everything, and what we need to do is create a wall almost like this, 150 feet wide by 1,000 feet tall. The question is, will this be able to work? And his idea is, let's put one in North Dakota, one on the border between Kansas and Oklahoma to the eastern side, and a third one in South Texas and Louisiana. And that this would diminish the tornado threats in Tornado Alley forever. Now, a lot of people say that this shouldn't be able to work because here's $60 billion per 100 miles is such a huge amount that if the United States had the money, would be better spent in areas such as working on forecast and making forecast a lot better and just overall safer for people. Now, it's the question that goes along with it. You have Tornado Alley. This is the little definition of it. And, people are saying, I think, Mike Smith of AccuWeather called this nonsense, and that these walls would be nothing but a stubbed toe for the ingredients on their way to Tornado Alley, and that it would do absolutely nothing, and that an F wall would turn around and go up and down or through this wall. and that in reality it could cause more damage and be more of an environmental harm. It and just wouldn't work. And why would you invest in something that isn't going to work? What's your input, Chris?
Nah, I wouldn't invest in that because I really don't think that'll work. I really
As
don't.
considering
I just think that tornadoes can just hit anywhere at any given time.
And considering this is only for Tornado Alley, you have areas such as the Ohio Valley, which is your primary area of chasing, and the Alley, which both areas we have seen extremely deadly and damaging tornadoes in the past years. And this year's prime example, we had the Cedarville, Ohio tornado this year, and we saw what that did and caused death, and that wasn't in Tornado Alley. So, do we really invest in something that isn't really going to help us? Now, as we go from that, we will go to the next topic. Just quickly looking through some photographs here. We are going to look and discuss social media storm chasers, which, especially as somebody as myself, you see, more and more of these people that are out there just with their iPhones, with a state license plate saying, "Oh yes, I'm a storm chaser. Let me take a photo." And this is what we believe, the good old days of chasing are done. Now you have people that are, self-made, that have absolutely no experience, and are just doing this for almost the thrill seek. And it is becoming a huge problem. You're having clogged roads and pretty much the inability for more experienced people and people trying to do research for them to do their work. And things such as Twister are a big problem, and Into the Storm, a new movie coming out on August 8th, are big, big problems, and these are pushing people to say, "Oh, this is really cool, I should do it." And that's causing such big problems in the chaser community. What do you think, Chris?
Well, we do have a lot of those, what they call people who think they can chase and they just go out and chase, but they're putting themselves in the path of danger. Like what your team does is you guys do strictly research. If you're going to chase a storm, you don't do it for fun. Do it for the research and help and how to prevent. I mean, not to prevent, but how to do research to help save lives in the future. Because you want to give a warning that gives everybody time enough to escape. But then, yeah, if you're just going out there for fun, you're not actually helping the community by doing that. Like you saying, you are clogging roads for escape routes. If people are trying to escape, but yet you're going to chase, it's just going to cause more traffic, which puts people more in the path of danger. So people who should be out there chasing tornadoes should know what they're doing and how to research and to collect data, and not just out for the fun of it.
And a big discussion that has just come up is, should there be a license for chasing? Should you have to turn around and pass the test to be able to call yourself a storm chaser and to chase these storms? What do you think about that?
Yes, that would actually be a good idea. I mean, you should also take a storm spotter class, but then people who are taking storm spotter classes are just saying, okay, I'm in a storm spotter class, I've seen it, and I'm an official chaser. No, you need to show that, you need to know what you're doing. You need to have equipment and all this, radar, help of your fellow colleagues, and stuff like that. Yes, I believe you should have a license for chasing.
But then people say, such as there are problems retaining to mostly, you can cheat on this exam and you could get the easy way out, like a lot of people do on things that they really need or don't want, that they just say, oh, this is another status thing. I want it. And, you mentioned the storm spotter classes, and being an experienced meteorologist myself, you know, personal opinion, I don't think they teach enough in these classes. They teach you, how to identify it, but they don't teach you what to do to get yourself out of these situations that you put yourselves in, such as, a clogged road, how to get yourself out of that. They don't teach that. But you have things such as this, and we'll go to a quick video I have here, which is actually, if you listen really closely, you will be able to identify one of the voices of the people who is, and today he's an experienced meteorologist, love him, he's a great guy, but back then, during this time, not so much. He had some problems and got too close a couple of times, and this is one of those times.
Look at the trees! Stop! Now, don't move it. Put it in reverse. Put the car in reverse and hold it there. Hold it. Hold it. Go back. Okay, stop. Go back. Okay, we're okay. We're still okay. We're still okay. As soon as you see that inflow jacket, close.
Now, may we note a little bit through this video, you heard a guy in the car saying, go back, go back, go back. And you can see the lead chaser here, who is most presumably filming the tornado, was ignoring his request. And actually, as you can read in, I think the book's called Into the Storm, I have it here somewhere, this guy ended up having a panic attack because of how close they were to this tornado. And this thing is an absolute beast of a tornado.
Seriously!
As you can see, as it crosses the road, an absolute beast. And actually, at the same time, you have this guy who is on it, and at the same time, you had an experienced meteorologist, Tim Samaras, was also on this tornado. This is the Manchester, South Dakota tornado. And this is a prime example of getting too close and putting yourself and others in danger. What's your thought on that? What's the appropriate distance to be from, one of Mother Nature's most destructive forces?
Well, not that close, that's for sure. I don't know. I figured you want to be at least, you want to be as far away from the storm as possible, but still, it just depends what kind of researcher you are. You could research and like you research as in shooting probes into the tornado to collect data. You got to be able to get close enough, but that is way too close. I can't say. It just depends on what kind of chaser you are. Like, if you're doing it for, to photograph and learn how the tornado forms and that kind of stuff, you need to be at a very safe distance. Probably, I don't know. Me personally, when I chase here, I don't like to be right close to the tornado. I probably, I like to be at least a couple miles or a mile away from the storm. I don't need to be any feet away. But if you are a probe shooter shooting for data that launches probes, then you need to be close enough where you can, at least close enough to get your cannon out there and shoot those probes into the NATO and collect your data. But according to that video, that is way too close. I would never be that close.
Especially for a tornado of tremendous size like that, they can do so many things so quickly. As we saw in El Reno, that tornado took an almost 90-degree turn to the left at a moment's notice. And if you were to the north of this storm, such as Mike Bettis, bad things can happen. And I'll pull up his video of when he was hit by this tornado, and you can watch what happens when you are too close. And this isn't even a question of if you're too close. This is you're in it, and you're not in something that's meant to be in a tornado. So here, once I see this is pulled up, there we go. You can see the vorticity of the El Nino tornado back in here.
Hold on, brothers. Hold on. Everybody duck, go, go, go. Just keep going if you can. Keep going if you can. Everybody duck down. Everybody duck down.
Pause it right there. You watched Mike Bettis' car be crushed and flipped. I think it was 100 yards. And this is an incredibly dangerous, if not deadly situation he put himself in. And that's something you never want to do. And you saw here by Mike Bettis, he got too close. And Mike Bettis is one of those people who you say, oh, he got too close. The Weather Channel let him do that. And this is a prime example of, something gone wrong too quickly. And you never want to be that close, and you saw what happened. What's your input on that?
Yes, that is too close. I mean, obviously he got hit. You can see according to the video, but I mean, like the incident in the El Reno tornado when those professionals got killed. A tornado can shift at any time. I mean, that's why you want to stay a good distance away, because you could be saying, "Oh, there's a good tornado," and you're looking at it and doing your research. Next thing you know, it takes a shift, and then it turns for the worse because you weren't at a safe distance.
And especially you have to think while chasing, being a family man, you never know what can go wrong. And if something goes wrong, what are you going to, you have to think about your kids and your family.
Sorry, Morgan. Repeat that question.
You being a family man, what do you have to say, while chasing? You definitely have to have your family in mind.
Okay. I mean, that day we were at T-ball, and we were living in London, Ohio, and we had the tornado warnings going off from the Cedarville tornado that rolled through. And so being the family man, you always put your family first. Find that shelter, get them to safety. You don't worry. Chasing is never first. Family's always first. So everybody remember that.
And especially because somebody like me who's been in a relationship, you think to yourself while you're on the road, hey, this is something, I'm getting incredibly close. What happens if I go? Is it safe anymore? Is it, even acceptable to do this at times? And, for you really have to question that. You come close, you see these, amazing things, and you and your work is absolutely amazing. Some of your lightning photography, we absolutely love. We printed some of it out and put it in the vehicles with us. And we absolutely love it. And for you, knowing that lightning is one of the #1 killers, you must have some sort of fear while out there doing this.
Well, yes, I do. I do lightning photography, but I also do it safely. I do not. I'm not out there like where we live. We have we have a house that has a whole wraparound porch, and you can see miles away from where we live. So I do a lot of my lightning photography really from home. But then if we get like a dry line storm or something like that, where the dew point is low and there's a lot of lightning going on, then I would try to get out there. But you got to remember, you got to take care of yourself. So when I do lightning photography, I make sure you make sure you got your good protection as well. So I mean, also if you know where we live, we get the storm from the west, and I usually do it before the actual storm arrives. I usually do my lightning photography there outside with the lightning trigger I have. And so far, I've gotten some pretty good shots with the lightning. But make sure you take care of yourself and don't put yourself in danger when you could put yourself in danger as that fire chief, that fire lieutenant that could hit that Crew Stadium as well.
Yeah,
So
you have
make
to,
sure you got yourself protected.
yeah, you always have to remember to put yourself before any picture or storm, because no matter what, you can miss one thing, you'll always see something else. As long as you're safe and you can go home to tell the story, that's better than any photo out there. Now, at the same time,
I
we'll
agree.
touch on another topic very quickly, and this is one that you and I have talked a lot about, storm chasing tours, and how they are good and yet kind of bad. And I don't really want to say I endorse companies, but I have friends and acquaintances such as Chris McPhee of Rapid Rotation Storm Tours, who do these awesome storm chases and photography and tours that get to show people what nature can do. But at the same time, this is causing problems because now you have these big vans on the side of the road taking up even more space. And at the same time, what if one of these get hit by debris? And I'll actually pull up something like that did happen this year. On that, something like, uh, people chasing storms and doing tours. Let's see if I can find it. I don't remember what this is called. I think it may have even been taken down because of the number of views it got. There we go. Here we go. We have a
Tornado!
storm company. This was May 11th. This was the Coleridge, Nebraska tornado that actually did some damage. And as you can see, this is a storm chasing company. Not going to say who, out of respect for them. And you can see what happened. Skip ahead. They are driving, and you can actually see the tornado is off to their side. And you can already see a couple of things wrong. A, power line. And then right here, farm equipment.
We should just let it go. Oh no. We're gonna have to let it go. We gotta let it go. You guys okay? Yeah. Everybody okay? Big tornado. We should just let it go. Oh no? We're gonna have to let it go. We're gonna have to let it go. We gotta let it go. We gotta let it go. We gotta let it go. Turn into it. Turn into it. Turn into it. Oh boy. You guys okay? Yeah. Everybody okay? John. I think I just almost peed my pants.
Now, as we just saw by that video, they had a van full of people. And this is the point where you're wondering, you got too close. A, why did you continue? And B, look at how many people you put in danger. What if that pole would have hit the driver and sent them off the road? What would have happened then? That is a big debate going on of, should these tours have to be licensed? And better, how do we license them? What's your opinion, Chris?
Well, the storm, yes. I mean, the thing is, I believe that, the driver did get a little bit too close to the tornadoes. I know people pay good money to go down there and chase and see them, but then the driver should have thought, okay, maybe maybe I should stay a good distance away to protect these people as well, because they have families too at home. So yes, when they chase, they should stay a good distance away, because, like I said, you don't know when that tornado is going to shift. But then you also got to look around what all the equipment and the things that are around you that could swing into the van, like you got trees and that kind of stuff. So yes, you should keep yourself a good distance away from the debris and stuff. So that's my opinion on it.
The added amount of pressure upon a chaser, especially when you have, 6 or 10 people in your car that have never seen something before, that all have their video cameras going, and it's on your shoulders to get them close enough, but safe enough to see what they want to see, and some detail with that. Here, I don't know how long we've been recording. I think we're going on like 45 minutes of recording. And we've covered a lot of great topics tonight, and it's been a pleasure having you, Chris. And definitely, I think, we'd love to do this sometime again. Love to have you on board with us, and especially as we get ready to enter the more quiet part of the year, we can definitely see doing more of these podcasts and including a wide variety of topics. So it's been great having you, and we'd love to have you back. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Hey, no time. Anytime. So here we go now for the rest of this podcast, which will only be a couple of minutes. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. We had a wonderful guest this week, Christopher Stepp, owner and founder of Westside Tornado Chasers. Wonderful company. They've done some wonderful things in Ohio for not only the people, but for themselves. They've really grown out of nothing into something great, and we love working with them, especially here. As we expand, we'd love to help them expand. And with your help from watching these podcasts, commenting what you want us to do, messaging us on Twitter, talking to us, we definitely love to anytime, have more special guests and do a lot more as we expand. So, I'd like to say thank you for everything you guys have done for us, helping us bring guests on this podcast, and we'd love to bring a couple more. So thank you, and have a good